este lugar?
¡Bienvenidas a la revolución!
¿Qué? ¡Ah!
Con mi fabuloso invento se producirá un intercambio genético que formará una persona completamente nueva.
¿Ah? ¿No es así como funciona la procreación?
Lo llamaremos la Han-creación. Y tiene mucha más clase.
Oye, ¿por qué me veo con tan mal estilo?
Tengo un chorizo en la cabeza.
¿Te refieres a mi trenza?
¿Y tú criticas mi estilo? ¿Por qué no te miras en un espejo?
A un espejo?
Pareces una... ¿Doctor?
Mi plan funcionó a la perfección.
Tú eres el culpable de esto.
Soluciona este problema ahora mismo.
¿Solucionar? No lo creo. De hecho, lo empeoraré.
Oh, ni un paso más.
¿Ah?
Detente.
No sean ilusas.
¿A qué te refieres?
Disculpa.
¿A dónde creen que van?
Nadie salvará a sus amigos.
Debemos detenerlo. Espera, ya lo tengo. Oigan, ¿ese es Wima?
¿Dónde?
¡Ahora!
¿Qué están haciendo?
Con el brillante invento del Dr. Han, incluso los monstruos pueden verse tiernos. Después de todo, el mundo necesita menos demonios y más animales felices, ¿no creen?
Ternuritos.
Detengamos a Han.
¡Woohoo! ¡Mira esta, Abby!
¡Excelente! ¡Saludos!
¿Qué hay, doctor?
Traje suministros.
¿Para nosotros?
¡Bienvenidos sean!
¡Ah! ¡Qué grosero!
¡Ay, gracias!
Eso es.
¡Mi turno! ¿Solo uno? Ah, supongo que tendré que conformarme.
¡Cayeron!
¿Qué está pasando?
¿Qué está pasando? ¿Oh? ¡Soy una Huntrix!
¡Parezco un niño!
Parece que toda su fama acabará luego de este escándalo. ¡Adiós!
¿Por qué hizo eso? Zoe. ¡Cielos! ¿Te encuentras bien? ¡Chicas, están aquí!
¡Genial! ¡Oh!
¡No es posible! Lo sentimos, Zoe.
Solucionaremos esto, pero debemos trabajar juntos.
Haré lo necesario para ser yo. ¡Acabemos con esto! ¡Derrotemos al doctor! ¡Derrotemos al doctor!
Así que decidí que te quiero en mi compañía.
¡Ay! ¿Quieres que trabaje?
Ganarás mucho dinero. Confía en mí. ¿Qué es eso? Adelante, Dr. Han.
Les daré de comer. Con permiso, un solo bocado de esta hamburguesa será suficiente para intercambiar sus genes. ¡Es delicioso!
¡Ah, delicioso!
Gracias, doctor.
Esto calmará los nervios.
No puedo lucir así.
No es gracioso.
¿No es gracioso? ¡Adiós!
¿Se marchó?
¿Qué haremos ahora?
¡Oh, Ginu! ¡Oh, finalmente! ¡Estás esponjosito!
¿Cómo puedes confundirme con Bobby?
¿Bobby? Lo siento.
Basta
de eso. Encontremos al Dr. Han.
¡Borremos esa sonrisa de su rostro!
¡Revierta el efecto!
¡Adiós!
¡No tan rápido!
¿Puedo explicárselos? Entonces hazlo. ¿Por qué decidiste que era buena idea convertirnos en esto? Wima me obligó, pero el antídoto está justo ahí. ¡Lo prometo!
¿Te refieres a eso?
Si lo beben, volverán a la normalidad.
¡Oh!
Perdóneme, por favor.
Perdonado.
¿De veras? ¡Ay! ¡Ay!
¿Pero qué?
¿Pero qué?
¡Hola, Rumi!
¡Un león!
Oye, baja la voz.
¿Animales parlantes?
En realidad, somos los Saya Boys.
¿Los Aya Boys?
Soy Abby.
¿Romance por aquí?
Mystery.
¿Qué?
Despertaste.
¿Pero qué? ¿Por qué ese león tiene la voz de mi amigo?
¿Y tú por qué no eres animal, Gino?
Porque soy el más cool. ¿Espera qué? ¡Ay, rayos!
¡Ay, el más adorable también!
Espero que todos hayan completado su transformación. ¡Un momento! ¡Rumi aún es humana!
¿Quiénes son?
Tal vez necesita una dosis extra.
Así que fueron ustedes quienes nos causaron esto.
Ahora verán. ¡Es nuestra oportunidad de escapar!
Oye, espérame.
Yo solo sigo órdenes.
¿Y ahora a dónde iremos?
¡Ay, por favor, tengan piedad!
Esto es un caos.
¡Ay, todos corran! ¡Hay animales descontrolados!
¡Oh! ¡No, no, no!
¡Los tengo! ¿A dónde creen que van?
¡Nos acorralaron!
Oigan, criaturas rebeldes, ¿quién les dijo que podían irse? ¿No quisieran quedarse con estas adorables felinas?
¿Esas son mis amigas?
¡Oficiales, captúrenlos! Mi parque de animales pronto será realidad y nada podrá impedirlo.
¿Él está detrás de todo esto?
¿Qué estás haciendo?
Iré tras él. ¿Crees que permitiré que se salga con la suya? ¡Ja! ¡Regresa aquí! ¡Oh!
¡Wow, amigos! ¿Vieron eso? ¡Qué increíble habilidad! No sabía que Jiru fuera tan bueno en...
¡Hot dogs en oferta!
Quiero 50.
Es posible.
Ay, olvídenlo. ¡Ah!
Ya te tengo.
¡Dejen paso a mi amigo ahora!
Tranquilo.
Tu gorra, ten una nueva.
Bien hecho, chicos. Pero esto no termina aquí.
Debemos encontrar a ese doctor.
Abby, Romance, distráiganlos.
No irán a ninguna parte.
Eso está por verse.
Ahora verás.
Mejor enfréntalos tú.
¿Decías?
¡Esperen!
Ahora, rápido, corran.
Chicos, acabo de ver al helicóptero arriba de esta escuela.
Buen trabajo, entremos. ¿Habrá alguien ahí?
¿Sabes qué le dije?
Lo siento, no soy chismosa.
Espera, ¿qué es eso? ¿Animales? ¿En mi escuela?
¡Corran, ahora! ¡Ah!
Nunca me gustaron los gatos.
Ah, ¿sí? ¡Qué mal! ¡Ah!
Dejan caer sus pelos en la comida.
¡Corre, Rumi!
¿Y tú qué eres?
Gracias, Mystery.
¿Quién rayos dejó entrar animales aquí?
Uno menos.
¡Ay, no!
¡No! Baby, lo siento.
Ah, nunca me he estado mejor.
¿Qué tal?
¡Están aquí!
¡Corre! Finalmente.
Ginu, los atraparon.
No podemos atrasarnos.
Tienes razón.
¿Qué es este lugar?
¿Un laboratorio?
Eso parece. Mira esto, Rumi. Son diferentes pociones. Interesante. Cada una con su propia función.
La que necesitamos es esta.
¡Funcionó! ¿Volviste a la normalidad?
¡Tu turno!
¡Deja eso donde estaba!
¡No sentirás nada!
Será mejor que te vayas de aquí.
¿Y si me niego?
¿Quién dijo que tienes opción?
¿A qué te refieres?
Justo a eso.
¡Ginu! ¡No! ¿Qué le hiciste?
Pronto los atraparé a todos y seguirán mis órdenes al fin. Ya lo verán. Nada podrá detenerme. No podrán escapar de mí. ¡No! ¡Esto no está pasando!
Eso no me lo esperaba.
¿Qué fue lo que pasó?
Ginu, ¿estás bien? Por un momento pensé que no volvería a verte.
Eso nunca.
Ellos nos salvarán.
Como digas.
¡Mira, son ellos!
¡Vamos!
¿Ah? ¿Ratones?
No exactamente. ¡Salgan!
Sí vinieron.
Falta la mejor parte.
A ver.
¡Volvimos! ¡Amigas!
Gracias.
Estamos de vuelta.
¿Y ahora qué, Wima? Les preparé la cena. Muchas gracias, Wima, aunque se ve un poco raro. Otra vez con esto. ¿Qué planeas ahora, Wima? ¿Ah? ¿Por qué estás cambiando nuestra apariencia? Oh, esto no me gusta.
¡Me estoy convirtiendo en un chico cool!
A veces hay que resignarse. Son los Huntrix Boys. De hecho, lucimos genial. Mi mejor creación. No entiendo. ¿Qué esperas que hagamos esta vez, Wima? Quiero que conquisten a todos los fans de las Huntrix y los traigan aquí.
¿Que hagamos qué?
Nuestros fans son los mejores, ¿eh? ¡Les amamos, ¡qué tiernos! ¡Vengan! No creo que el fanatismo produzca ceguera, ¿o sí? ¿Y ellos quiénes son? ¡Esa letra!
¿Ese es Bobby?
¡Estamos aquí,
¡Me
Bobby!
encanta su nuevo look! ¡Las redes van a explotar! ¡Eres una líder increíble, Rumi! ¿Cómo se les ocurrió todo esto?
¿Cómo te atreves a robar mi identidad?
Yo soy la única inigualable Rumi. Vámonos de aquí. No les hagas caso a las fans locas.
¿Cómo es que ya tienen su propio merch? ¡Y de primera calidad! ¡Debemos detenerlos!
Cierto.
¡Hogar, dulce hogar!
¡Asombroso! ¿Podemos hacer lo que queramos aquí? Ser Rumi no está nada mal. Este lugar no tiene nada de estilo. A veces lo simple es elegante. ¡Perfecto!
Mucho mejor. A ver, eso es.
Sería genial si nos dieras algo de
¿Algo de comer?
Ajá, gracias.
¡Claro! Sírvanse lo que gusten, Huntrix. ¡Wow!
Ya voy a acostumbrarme a esta vida.
Las Huntrix sí que comen bien.
Todo aquí es delicioso.
Mucho mejor que las hamburguesas de Wima.
Dame eso. Lo necesito para verme genial.
Bien. Saluden a sus fans, Huntrix. Lo siento.
Hola, fans.
Perfecto. A esto le llamo hacer números.
¿Ah? Hay un problema.
¿Cómo es que todos confían en ellos?
The first thing Adam noticed when he landed in America was the silence inside the airport, a strange kind of silence that existed even among thousands of people. Everyone was moving fast, eyes forward, lives already in motion. He had dreamed of this place since childhood, imagining tall buildings, endless roads, and opportunities waiting at every corner. Now, standing there with a single suitcase and a heart full of hope, the dream felt both real and frightening. America did not greet him with warmth or fear, it greeted him with indifference, as if asking him to prove why he belonged. Adam came from a small town where everyone knew his name. In America, he was just another face in the crowd. He took a bus toward the city, watching the skyline rise like a wall of glass and steel. The streets were loud, colorful, and alive. People spoke different languages, laughed, argued, and hurried past him. He felt inspired and lost at the same time. That night, in a tiny rented room, he lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if he had made the biggest mistake of his life or the bravest decision he would ever take. The next morning, reality arrived without mercy. Adam walked for hours, handing out resumes to places that barely looked at him. Some smiled politely, others ignored him completely. By evening, his feet hurt and his confidence was cracked. Back home, he had been talented, respected, full of ideas. Here, talent meant nothing without connections, and dreams meant nothing without survival. He bought cheap food, counting every dollar, promising himself that this struggle was temporary. Days turned into weeks. Adam finally found a job washing dishes in a small restaurant. The work was hard, the hours long, and the pay barely enough, but it was a start. At night, he practiced his English, watched the city lights from his window, and reminded himself why he had come. America, he realized, did not give success easily. It tested you first, broke you a little, and then watched to see if you would stand up again. One evening, after a long shift, Adam met an old man sitting outside the restaurant. The man spoke softly, with a calm confidence that caught Adam's attention. He told him he had once arrived in America with nothing but hope, just like him. This country, the man said, doesn't promise happiness. It promises opportunity. What you do with it decides everything. Those words stayed with Adam long after the man disappeared into the crowd. Inspired, Adam began waking up earlier, pushing himself harder. He saved money, learned new skills online, and refused to let exhaustion win. Slowly, small changes appeared. His English improved. His manager noticed his dedication. Customers began to recognize his face. For the first time since arriving, Adam felt a sense of belonging, fragile but real. One night, standing on a bridge overlooking the city, Adam watched the lights reflect on the river. America was no longer just a dream or a struggle, it was a journey shaping him every day. He understood now that success here was not about instant rewards but about patience, resilience, and belief in oneself. Episode 1 of his life in America had been about survival. Episode 2 had begun with understanding. And deep inside, Adam knew this was only the beginning of a much bigger story. Time changed its rhythm for Adam in America. What once felt fast and overwhelming now moved with a strange balance of pressure and purpose. The restaurant was no longer just a place of exhaustion, it had become his training ground. He learned how systems worked, how people interacted, and how effort slowly turned into trust. His manager began giving him extra responsibilities, letting him help with inventory and customer orders. These small signs of growth fueled Adam's confidence. He started to believe that maybe America was testing him not to reject him, but to prepare him. Outside of work, Adam enrolled in free community classes. Sitting among students from different countries, he felt less alone. Each person carried a story of sacrifice, of leaving something behind to build something new. Adam listened more than he spoke, absorbing not just language but courage. He realized that struggle was not a personal failure, it was a shared experience. This understanding softened the loneliness that had once weighed heavily on his chest. One afternoon, a regular customer noticed Adam practicing notes during a break. She asked about his goals, and for the first time, he spoke honestly about his dreams beyond survival. She listened carefully and encouraged him to apply for an entry-level position at a small tech company where she worked. The idea felt impossible at first. Adam had doubts about his skills, his accent, his background. But that night, he remembered the old man's words about opportunity. America did not promise comfort, only chances. He decided to try. The interview was short and uncomfortable. Adam stumbled over words, his hands shaking slightly. Yet something unexpected happened. Instead of focusing on his weaknesses, the interviewer asked about his journey, his persistence, and what he had learned from hardship. When Adam walked out, he felt proud regardless of the outcome. He had stepped into a new world without fear holding him back. Weeks later, an email arrived that changed everything. He was offered a probationary role. The salary was modest, but the door was finally open. Balancing two jobs nearly broke him. Days were spent learning new systems, nights washing dishes. Sleep became a luxury, but hope kept him moving. America, he learned, rewarded endurance in quiet ways. As Adam grew, his view of success evolved. It was no longer about money alone. It was about dignity, growth, and the ability to help others. He started sending small amounts of money back home, not because it was expected, but because it felt right. His family's pride gave him strength during moments of doubt. Episode 4 unfolded with challenges that tested his spirit. Mistakes at the new job made him question his place. Cultural misunderstandings led to awkward moments. Once, after a harsh critique, Adam sat alone, staring at his screen, feeling like an outsider again. But instead of quitting, he asked questions, stayed late, and learned from every error. Slowly, respect replaced skepticism. One evening, after a long day, Adam walked through the city streets, now familiar and welcoming. He realized that America had stopped feeling like a battlefield and started feeling like a classroom. Every failure taught him something valuable. Every success, no matter how small, reminded him of how far he had come. Standing under the city lights, Adam smiled quietly. Episodes 3 and 4 were about transformation. He was no longer just surviving, he was building. The fear that once defined his journey had turned into determination. And as he looked ahead, he knew the hardest part was behind him, but the most meaningful chapters were still waiting to be written. Adam's life in America entered a phase where pressure and possibility walked side by side. The probation period at the tech company ended with a quiet confirmation meeting. His supervisor told him his progress had been noticed. There was no celebration, no dramatic moment, just a simple sentence that meant everything. He was being kept on full-time. Adam walked out of the building feeling lighter, as if the city itself had shifted in his favor. For the first time since arriving, stability no longer felt like a distant dream. With one job secured, Adam finally left the restaurant. Saying goodbye was harder than he expected. That place had witnessed his lowest moments and his earliest lessons. It had taught him humility, patience, and the value of honest labor. On his last night, he washed the dishes slowly, almost respectfully, knowing this chapter had shaped him more than success ever could. Freedom brought new challenges. The tech world moved fast, and expectations were higher. Adam struggled to keep up with meetings, deadlines, and constant learning. There were days he felt he was still pretending, afraid someone would discover he did not belong there. Yet every time doubt crept in, he remembered the nights of hunger and exhaustion. Compared to that, this struggle felt meaningful. Adam began building friendships with coworkers who once felt distant. Shared lunches turned into conversations, conversations into trust. He learned that many of them had faced their own invisible battles. America, he realized, was full of people wearing confidence while hiding fear. This understanding made him kinder, more patient, and more open. Episode 6 brought a deeper test. Adam received news from home about an illness in the family. The distance felt cruel. For the first time, he questioned whether success was worth the sacrifice. Sleepless nights returned, but this time they were filled with reflection rather than panic. He spoke to his manager honestly, expecting disappointment. Instead, he was met with understanding and flexibility. That moment changed how Adam viewed leadership and belonging. During this emotional period, Adam volunteered at a community center, helping newcomers with basic English and job applications. Looking into their anxious faces felt like looking into his own past. He shared his story not as inspiration, but as truth. He told them America was not magic, but it was fair to those who refused to give up. Teaching others gave his journey a new purpose. Slowly, Adam's confidence matured. It was no longer loud or desperate. It was calm, grounded, earned. He moved into a better apartment, not luxurious but peaceful. From his window, the city lights felt familiar, almost friendly. He had stopped chasing America and started living in it. One quiet evening, Adam walked the same bridge where he once stood full of uncertainty. The water below reflected not just lights, but time. He understood that episodes 5 and 6 were about meaning. Success without purpose was empty, and struggle without growth was wasted. He had learned to balance ambition with gratitude. As the wind brushed past him, Adam smiled softly. He was still far from finished, still learning, still growing. But now he knew something powerful. America had not changed him into someone else. It had revealed who he was all along. And with that realization, the journey no longer felt heavy. It felt real, and it felt his.